Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of IDRYB. I am your host, Lutch, and today we are going to be talking about Netflix. You may have heard that for the first time in a long time, they are not doing well, and their stock has dropped by about 35% 35% in a very short period of time. So I just, I'm seeing a lot of different things going around as explaining this, and I'm just not really sure where I fall on that. So first things first, let's dive into this CNN business article. I want to make sure nobody is talking about biases, so we're going straight to CNN business, and CNN not on television seems to be a better source anyway. Let's go through this article, and then I have some stuff to say. So Netflix's world has been turned upside down as stock plunges 35%. Call 11 and Sheriff Hopper of Stranger Things because Netflix's world has been turned upside down. The company reported Tuesday that it lost subscribers for the first time in more than a decade. The news shocked Wall Street and sent shares plummeting 35% Wednesday morning, wiping out $50 billion in market cap. And this was after the company's stock had dropped more than 40% year to date. Simply put, Netflix's terrible 2022 has now become disastrous. Once bullish experts and analysts who viewed Netflix as the linchpin of a transforming entertainment industry are now concerned about its growth going forward. And they're wondering what the future of the company and all of streaming might look like, as do I, which is what we'll get into. What worked until this point may not be working anymore. Michael Nathanson, a media analyst from MoffettNathanson, MoffettNathanson, told CNN Business, the world's changed. The next question for Netflix, once the untouchable king, dare I say, Tiger King of streaming, has gone from what's next to what now. Netflix said Tuesday that it lost 200,000 subscribers for the first quarter of 2022. Now, 200,000 out of 221 million global subscriptions may seem like a little more than a rounding error, but consider that the service was expected to add 2.5 million new users for in the first 3 months of the year. As if it wasn't bad enough, Netflix expects to lose another 2 million in the current quarter. So just scrolling through, they point to macro factors, talking about sluggish economy growth, increasing inflation, geopolitical events, and some disruption from the Rona. Pulling out of Russia alone cost the company 700,000 subscribers, but even without that, the company still would have missed its own expectations by nearly 2 million. So the long and short of it is Netflix is not doing very well. And, this is something that people have kind of been talking about for a while, but the drop so recently got me thinking. And so I just wanted to talk about it because I'm not really sure. Like, do you still have Netflix or no? Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the originals that aren't overly woke. There's LGBTQ plus IA people all over the place, and it's cringe as fuck sometimes. But it depends on the show for sure. Plenty do it and don't make a thing about it. Ironically, for this reason, I'm not clicking on anything that's labeled LGBT because I assume that it's overtly about that. Whereas if they had just labeled anything that included LGBTQIA plus people, then it would only hurt those who are openly bigoted. People just, wouldn't click on that because, oh, there's a gay dude in this, I'm not watching that. But the rest of us would just, be like, oh, okay, there's gay people in this. Is it good or is it not? That's what we really care about. I do see an overrepresentation of female and minority-focused stories. It doesn't necessarily track if a certain demographic is 10% of the population, but appear in 40% of the show. That's not representative. That's pandering. That's never stopped them before. But I don't care. I enjoyed the limited series about the woman who's in trouble and has had to fight her way out of her predicament in 6 to 8 episodes. The ones I've seen, the ones that Netflix recommend to me, have been good, not great, but about as enjoyable as the show You. And I would just put them in the same kind of category. That was one of the last shows where I think people, not universally, but people were universally kind of on that show and people knew about it. So sorry to interrupt your podcast experience. I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And if you really love it, there's some support links in the description. I would love if you could help out the channel. And back to the show. And yeah, so like it's not Breaking Bad. It's not Better Call Saul. It's not seasons 1 through 7 of Game of Thrones, but it's good. It's enjoyable. I also happen to enjoy cringy reality TV. And Netflix saw what MTV did in the 2000s and turned the cringe up even higher. So I'm here for that. I didn't really like Love is Blind, but that was before I knew you could speed up the shows. So I think I'm going to give that one another shot. As for the really problematic shows, I didn't watch Cuties. I trust the people who told me what was in it, and I just don't have a reason to watch it. And it's bad. Like, I don't have to see it to know the notion is bad. Like, don't be the dummy who thinks that's an argument. It's not. Like, you could tell me there's a show about, that is championing murder. Like, that's not something I want to support, whether or not, and whether I can stomach watching the gore of a murder is very different than do I want to stomach the experience of watching 11-year-olds twerk and do all that good stuff. So no, I didn't see it, but yes, I can have a problem with the content and the notion of it. I just don't feel the need to cancel the entire service over one bad aspect. And another one that I've heard a lot, especially from Tim Pool, is Big Mouth. I think that show is hilarious, and it's a completely different category because there's no kids involved. It's like before Cuties, right-wingers were clutching their pearls over Big Mouth and talking about, oh, this is gross, this is no. But it wasn't really bad enough for them to be like, oh, we need to cancel over this. And Cuties was what they needed to make it actually that bad. In terms of Big Mouth, I resent it being lumped in with Cuties. And if it's not your brand of humor, whatever, but a show about kids going through puberty, an animated show that is voiced by adults, that is made for adults, is funny because we all remember that we all remember puberty, and it wasn't this dirty thing, which is the joke. The things that were like nasty about it, we weren't anything that we were that was perverted at the time from that perspective, and that's the perspective of the show. And so, but yes, Cuties was definitely bad. I don't agree with that, and I don't blame anyone for canceling because of that. But I don't see the numbers or the timing that would reflect Cuties being the catalyst for this quarter being so bad. I certainly have a lot of I certainly have an issue with a lot of things on Netflix. There's so much preachy leftist establishment stuff, but I don't watch that stuff. I watch the stuff I like. I watch everything the Daily Wire puts out as soon as I can get my eyes on it. But they've said themselves that they're just not there yet where they can have this prolific library and catalog. And when they do, I'm there for it, but they're just not there yet. And that brings up the main point here. Is that none of these streaming services are flawless. Whether it's the content or the actual product, none of them are flawless. Both between their catalog and their user interface, Netflix is head and shoulders a better product than any other of these platforms. And maybe watching TV isn't a big part of your life, but it is mine. So I'm not going to not watch TV because all of the platforms don't align ideologically with me. I didn't see anybody stop using their cell phone or Wi-Fi when Verizon didn't uphold net neutrality, but somehow I'm a terrible person for my comfort zone being co-opted by the left. Just a better product to me. That's all it is. It's a better product. I want television services, and Netflix offers those better than wider catalog than Disney, Hulu, Amazon. There's some great shows on all of those. I'm obsessed with the Marvel shows. And, I guess this kind of fits in that whole thing with Disney. I'm not willing to just sacrifice that big of a part of my life for something that isn't directly, it's not directly affecting me. If it were worse, I would. If there was something better, I would switch with that. But for now, it is what it is. And I think there's enough people like myself that have their own reasons for sticking with Netflix, that if Netflix understands that they're beyond the time, as it says in the CNN article, that they're beyond the time when they had the market cornered, they can pick a lane and fill that niche. And it probably won't be mine. That's fine, because it'll leave the lane open for the TV that, since everybody's going to be watching ideologically aligned TV, then you'll have your communist platform and your socialist one, and your Democrats will have one, and the Republicans, and the Libertarians, and why not? Let's give the anarchist one too. But until then, I'll watch Big Mouth and anything else I like, guilt-free. I spend my days trying to bring awareness through this platform to the things that I find important and noteworthy in the world. So, excuse me if I want my Netflix. Now, if they're smart and don't keep trying to do everything, then they won't have to raise the prices or start including ads, which is just going to lose more people. If that happens, I'm just going to go back to, being a pirate, if you know what that means. And I just don't want to do that. The long and short of it is that we're at a crossroads. There was a time when Netflix cornered the market. There was a time when if you wanted to cut the cord and not pay $1 million a month for cable, Netflix was it. We are past that time with, all the others, Disney, Roku, and Amazon, and Hulu, and all of these things. It's spread out. So nobody is congregating on one site. And Netflix still has that first in, advantage. And if they don't realize that they have to pivot, then they're just going to lose everybody. I hope there's somebody in those offices that, knows that this is what it is and that understands it is time to do something different. If they want to pick that lane and be the LGBTQIA plus network, go ahead and do that. I'll probably cancel, but a lot of people will stand for it. A lot of people will be there for it, and good for those people, but they're not there yet. So I don't know. That's my position on Netflix. I'm gonna go watch some more Netflix, and you guys let me know. Is this a solid position? Am I just rationalizing? Am I just making excuses for a corporation that is causing the downfall of society? Like, what do you guys think? I feel pretty strongly that I am justified here, but if I'm not, I would like to know that. And if you can convince me that I'm wrong and that I should cancel Netflix, then I absolutely will do that. So that is the IDRYB position on Netflix. Please do subscribe if it's your first time here. Do like the video. I would really appreciate if you could go and check out those support links in the description. Could really use it, bringing on some new people, helping out and bringing new types of content, all of that stuff. But even if you can't help support, then it is free to like, comment, and subscribe. Even if you don't want to do that and you just want to sit at home and think about how great I am and how awesome this podcast is, you can do that too. Until then,